Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Uncanny, we got The Adventure, we got Adrian, Jude, Otis, Coley, Julio, Joan. Appreciate you for being in the chat here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to obviously talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, as we're sitting on Thursday. Happy Halloween if you guys celebrated. If you don't, hopefully you're having a fantastic Thursday. No worries. But we are sitting 5 days away from the trade deadline and 3 days away from the Cardinals versus Bears Week 9 matchup. So, lot to dive into today. Obviously, we're going to be ending off the show with Cardinals versus Bears, how we match up, what does Drew Petzing say about them, what does JG say about Eberflus, and then, of course, a couple clips here from K1. We're going to be diving into that here as well. But obviously, we are going to be talking about the trade deadline and a couple different things that we've heard this morning. There was some wild rumors going around yesterday, some wild rumors about Myles Garrett. And it even kind of leaked into the later part of the show yesterday, where people in the chat were like, hey, that we're seeing this everywhere. And I found it and I was like, oh, don't worry about it. But then it got even wilder because apparently Wikipedia said it. It was just this whole big thing, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever get too excited unless you hear the news drop from either your Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, or any of those national guys. Just want to say that right now. Do not get too excited at all, because I had multiple DMs and I had a couple people text me as well. No, it was not true. The whole Myles Garrett thing to the Cardinals was not true. All right, but let's go ahead and let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just do a real quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. That's going to be up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's talk about, the latest trade rumors, right? Let's start off with here, ladies. Let's start off with that. Let's start off with this. Now, I want to be very clear here, ladies and gentlemen. We made a whole video and a live stream yesterday about Monty Ossenfort in this front office making phone calls, and I read a lot of comments, and it's kind of the same stance where I'm at as well, right? Where the whole idea that it's not shocking that the Cardinals are reaching out to people. They are doing their due diligence, and that's exactly what they should be doing, right? When it comes down to a Cardinals organization that obviously has a big need, which you would have hoped that they would have filled in the offseason. Now, granted, they also didn't plan for all these injuries that they have, but we're now kind of in a situation where we got a lot of Cardinal fans out there really, really raving for your Myles Garrett and or Max Crosby. I don't think those guys are attainable. Like, I'm going to be really, really honest with you guys here. I don't think they're attainable. Not so much for... I don't think the Cardinals are going to get him. I just don't know if these guys are going to be available, right? Like the Raiders, for example. Like, what's a big player they currently got right now on the roster? Like Max Crosby, like, right? He's one of the very few, right? And the same thing goes for Myles Garrett. Like, those pass rushers, they're so hard to come around, right? They're so hard to come around. Now, is it possible? There's still a slight possibility. But the last thing that I heard, is the fact that I don't know if those teams are willing to move off of such a dynamic player, right? Because, yeah, you can throw 2 first-round picks. Not saying the Cardinals, but yes, you can. Obviously everybody's got their price, but I don't know. I think I don't think the Cardinals are in a stance where they're going to be giving up a farm for any of those 2 guys, right? So if you have your heart set on that, I don't know. I just say lower your expectations, temper your expectations here. And that's even if the Cardinals make a move, right? Like right now, a lot of us are really, really excited about, just adding somebody, right? Adding somebody here to this pass rushing core. But I want to be honest. I don't think those 2 are going to be attainable, right? I don't think they're going to be attainable. Now, Couple other things that we mentioned before, right? I think the New York Giants, they're listening, right? They're listening to the idea of potentially moving off of Azeez Ojulari, which is a name that we've been talking about for what seems like months now, or not months. It's actually been weeks that we've been talking about Azeez. Are they going to move off of him? He's got 6 sacks. He can be a very, very good staple point for their defense, right? But we know where the New York Giants currently are right now. They are on a downward spiral, and they have other issues other than let's keep a pass rusher, right? They got the quarterback issue with Daniel Jones. They're potentially going to be dipping their toes into the whole quarterback market or the quarterback, for draft, right, in his next year. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. But, it does take two to tango at the end of the day, right? The Cardinals are doing their due diligence, calling around and seeing and getting a gauge of who can be available, right? Who can be available. But big names out there. Let's pump the brakes, right? Let's pump the brakes on those big names. But here's the thing, too, right? Like, I don't think the Cardinals need to do that. Like right now, with where we are at, I don't think this Monty Ossenfort in this front office is willing to do it. Now, obviously, would that make a blockbuster trade? Of course, yeah. Everybody would be excited, right? Everybody would be on the train of the Arizona Cardinals. But I just want to have everybody temper their expectations, right? The whole Myles Garrett rumor, and that's what it was. It was a rumor, right? It was a rumor made by, I'm assuming, a Cardinals fan, because they even went as far as A, making a tweet, and it got really, really hot. And then B, somebody changed the Wikipedia page, and everybody sent me multiple screenshots of that. And then on top of that as well, like, just temper the expectations here, ladies. That's all I'm trying to say. Just temper the expectations. We do got a super chat coming our way. BBH, what's up, brother, man? Appreciate the contribution, man. He says this: I say we go after two positions with. Oh, sorry about that. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Okay, so. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. All right, this is what the super chat says. I say we go after two positions with a defensive tackle and an edge, because just edge help won't fix the D line. We are down 2 tackles. Yes, DR's coming back, but he's still just a rookie. So, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if even the Cardinals are going to be in the market for a defensive lineman, like the interior, right? I feel like they are confident and they're comfortable with who they have currently right now. And I know that might frustrate people, right? I know that might frustrate people to hear that, because right now we're rolling with Dante Stills, Roy Lopez, right? A lot of these guys that we have on this defensive line, there's a lot of people that are being switched in and out, right? They're being switched in and out, in and out, in and out, right? So I just don't think this is the year that Monty Ossenfort will do a move like. And here's the thing: I don't even know Monty Ossenfort will even make a move like this, right? Like ever. You know what I mean? Ever. Is he a time kind of guy? I don't know. He just seems to be very, very timid, right? When making these big splash moves. Now, granted, it is maybe not the right time to do a Myles Garrett or maybe even a Max Crosby, but there is still players for the Cardinals to potentially go after, right? Like your Uche, right? Like Josh Uche, which unfortunately got traded away. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, I think there's a rumor out there that he might be available as well, right? And then there was that whole thing that Zadarius Smith has an illness, right? Zadarius Smith has an illness. He's probably going to get traded away. Let's call it like it is. There is a lot of calls being happening right now between here and Tuesday. There's a lot of calls happening. So I'm not saying the Cardinals aren't going to make a move. No, I think that they probably will, or at least they're trying to set the bar. They're trying to set the table for a potential trade, right? But for the whole Myles Garrett and your Max Crosby, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Michael, what's up, Michael? He says, "Go Cards, go have a great day, everyone." Awesome. Well, appreciate the super chat, man. I absolutely appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we really haven't paid too much attention to Cardinals versus Bears. I don't know if you guys didn't notice, but we haven't really been talking about Bears versus Cardinals Week 9 matchup at all this week so far. And I think because we're talking so much about this trade deadline with all the rumors that are kind of swirling around, being the fact that the Cardinals are making phone calls, right? And are at least trying to address that the pass rushing position. We're not really focusing too much on what's at hand. And what's at hand is obviously the Cardinals versus Bears in week 9. And we're going to be diving into that a little later on here in the stream because it's an important game. It really is. Now, is this a game that's going to be a deciding factor as to will the Cardinals make a move, or are they fine with who they currently have on their roster, right? But here's the thing. I feel like the Cardinals right now, and this is only based on my opinion here, right? This is only based on my opinion. I feel like the Cardinals right now, they have proven that they can compete within this NFC West, right? They've proven that they can compete within this NFC West. We're 4-4 right now. So, like, even if we do lose to the Bears, right? Will it be heartbreaking? Of course, right? Because you got the Rams getting healthier. You got the 49ers currently right now on a bye week, and then you got the Seahawks playing the Rams, right? So you have an opportunity to stay within the top of the division, but you just got to take care of business. The big thing is that the Bears are actually a good team defensively. Like, defensively, that's a very, very good team over there. Like, it really is. So it's going to be a very, very interesting situation to find ourselves here in week 9, but let's call it this trade deadline this week. That's been the big talking point. That's been the big talking point so far, right? And that's what people want to talk about. Will the Cardinals make a move, right? What are the latest rumors? What are the Cardinals doing? The last we've heard so far right now is that the Cardinals are making calls. Like that's the only thing that we've heard so far, right? We know Monty's open. We know Monty's open to it, right? We know Monty's open to the idea to make a trade, but I just want everybody to temper expectations for a Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Temper it, right? If it happens, we celebrate. And then we act like those LA Dodger fans that act like the world's ending and they start flipping calls because they won the championship. I'm just kidding. Don't ever do that. That's I don't know if you guys heard about that. Sorry. And I don't know why I brought them. It's just so annoying to see something like that. Did you guys see that the LA Dodgers won the World Series yesterday, and a lot of people are flipping cars and looting? Are you kidding? That's just ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's so dumb. But anyways, I digress. Let me get to my guy Dario here with the super chat. He says Monty is trying to do the 76ers trust the process. So you're talking about the Philadelphia 70. I mean, well, here's the thing. I mean, the process is being trust currently right now, right? I don't think anybody currently right now, or I guess I can't say anybody, but for myself, right? I can't really speak for anybody but myself. I'm not really to the point where I'm like, oh, this has to be Myles Garrett or bust, right? This has to be Max Crosby or bust. No, that's not where I'm at. But what I do feel like, if you are a good general manager, regardless of trusting the process or not, you gotta make your team better, right? You got to make your team better. And I think that's kind of one of the disconnects between where people are like, trust the process and I trust everything Monty's doing compared to what I'm saying here, right? What I'm saying is I am still trusting the process, right? I am still trusting the idea that Monty Austin knows what he's doing. But your job as a general manager is to make this team better, right? To at least attempt to make a push. And right now, with the pieces that are being added, they're just camp bodies, it feels like, right? Camp bodies, people's practice squads that aren't going to push you over the edge, right? Because at the end of the day, we got to establish some sort of winning culture somewhere down the line, right? And thankfully, we have a franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray right now that's trending in the right direction, that's believing in that is believing in Jonathan Gannon, right? So I don't think we're really saying much different. I think we're both, or at least my guy Dario in the super chat here saying, trust the process. I am trusting the process personally, but I do think that it's still important to continue to trust the process, but make your team better, right? Because if you don't make your team better, when the obvious weakness on this roster is the pass rushing core, and it's probably going to lose you games, you're doing a disservice to your roster. You're doing a disservice to this team. You're doing a disservice to James Conner, Budda Baker, Kyler Murray, the guys that want to win. I'm not saying a Super Bowl, but this can be a deciding factor if you're a 6-win team to maybe a 7 to 8-win team. And let's be honest, if we're an 8-win team leaving the 2024 season, we will probably have a parade. That's being a little facetious, obviously, right? And being a little dramatic, but like 8 wins, like that would be absolutely amazing. That would be amazing, especially coming off 2 back-to-back 4-win seasons, right? The Cardinals fan base right now are longing to hold on to something for 2025. And right now, we need our general manager to do something, right? Something. I'm not asking for us to sell the farm. No, a 4th round, 5th round, 6th round pick, you're not going to lose sleep over that. Or at least that's my opinion. You're not going to lose sleep over it. So I am trusting the process personally, but I still do think as a general manager, your duty is to go out there and make this team better, right? And the trade deadline is coming here in 5 days. I don't expect news coming up, anywhere between here until Tuesday, but I do expect that some moves should be made, right? I don't know if it's going to happen, but I expect some move should be made because general manager, there's only 32 out there, right? There's only 32 general managers in the NFL, right? And guess what? There's about 5 or 6 teams already thinking about the draft. The Cardinals aren't thinking about the draft. Finally, the Cardinals aren't thinking about the draft. So I'm just trying to say, give your defense a little bump, right? Give your little defense some sort of little bump to kind of help us out. That's all we're saying here. All right, real quick before we get to Cardinals versus Bears, I forgot to bring this up. I don't know if you guys do know, but I did release a Cardinals versus Bears preview yesterday. Now I recorded that video before Wednesday's practice, so um, I wasn't in the loop pertaining to Darius Robinson not showing up at practice on Wednesday. And guess what? He didn't show up in practice again today. So for what it's worth, shout out here to Tyler Drake of Arizona Sports. He ended up putting this tweet out. So any injury news, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. So Tyler Drake says this: Arizona Cardinals defensive lineman Darius Robinson was again not practicing during the open portion on Thursday. Defensive line Naquan Jones and Roy Lopez and offensive linemen Jonah Williams and Kelvin Beachum were all participating. So we do got some participation. Obviously, there's an excitement coming up because Jonah Williams is potentially making his comeback. I don't think it's going to happen in week 9. If I'm going to put some money down, I don't think it will be week 9, but potentially week 10. If not, maybe after the bye week, then maybe the Cardinals can find themselves in a situation where we got our right tackle back for the remaining of the season. Fingers crossed. But we are getting healthier. Darius Robinson doesn't seem like he's trending in the right direction, so definitely very, very unfortunate. So I know we're all very excited whenever we get any news from Darius Robinson because we just want to see the first-round pick play, right? But it doesn't seem like it's going to happen again this week as well. And then another thing here to note as well is, for what it's worth, Chad Ryland, ladies and gentlemen, kicker of the Arizona Cardinals, named Special Team Player of the Month, along with Chris Boswell. So this is absolutely amazing here. We don't get these very often, so I guess we'll celebrate to where we can celebrate. So Chad Ryland, I believe it was a couple hours ago, the announcement came out that he was Special Teams Player of the Month. So crucial. Amazing, right? Amazing. And this is really, really going to be something very interesting to keep your eyes on coming into the offseason. Matt Prater might retire. Maybe he decides to hang it up. But I think right now with Chad Ryland, I think a lot of Cardinal fans right now are feeling pretty darn good. We're feeling pretty darn good right now with Chad Ryland. So congratulations, Chad Ryland. And then for what it's worth, here are the injuries. And I don't think Darius Robinson, I don't think he's going to be playing this coming week again, unfortunately. So there's that. All right. Let's go back here to what we were talking about with the rumors and kind of a couple different things that we've talked about here before. Yeah, people in the chat, Chad. Yes, right on, Chad. Thank you, Chad. Absolutely. He's definitely won a lot of crucial games for the Cardinals already. So here we go. Got Dario with the dream scenario. Prater versus so for Garrett. Ooh. How can the Browns say no, huh? How can the Browns say no? We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I doubt that's even in contention here, but I appreciate the effort and obviously the comment here. Appreciate you for being here. Yo, Mike, I have a question. Any news on Michael Wilson? Right now, it doesn't seem like Michael Wilson. I don't think there's any concern with Michael Wilson, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any concern right now with Michael Wilson. I know he limped off the field, but like there hasn't really been a big thing made about Michael Wilson right now. So I think he's fine. Obviously with the latest injury report that we've seen, it doesn't seem like it's too big of a deal, especially because JG didn't really mention it here on Monday. But let me just do a quick confirmation here real quick. Looking at the injury report for the Cardinals heading into week 9. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, he's not even on the injury report, lady. So, yeah, I mean, he was limping, but I think he's fine. Obviously, we don't have the full Thursday injury report, but for Wednesday, he wasn't even on the injury report. You saw Sean Murphy-Bunting as a full participant, Jonah Williams limited, Roy Lopez limited, Naquan Jones limited, and then you see him again on Thursday, along with Kelvin Beachum. Beecham didn't practice Wednesday, but he was limited on Thursday. Darius Robinson didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday as well. So for Darius, like I said, I know we're all pretty excited about maybe the opportunity of seeing him sooner rather than later. But another one of those guys that unfortunately we gotta have to temper. But I think Michael Wilson's fine. Yeah, yeah. I don't see him on the injury report, so I don't see why he wouldn't be. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be. And like I said, they usually would have made a big deal about it, right? There would have been like some sort of breaking news if it was something. But like even the Monday after the whole game, Jonathan Gannon mentioned nothing about Michael Wilson. It was just probably a bad fall, kind of hurt a little bit, but I think he's fine. Obviously, the best thing to do is wait till Friday. That's when we'll get the real information. But as of right now, I don't think there's a concern right now with him. So that's good news. Let's see here. Uh, I don't. Let's see here. Michael says, I don't want to see Caleb making ham sandwiches back there. I mean, the realism is that he might be making ham sandwiches with some mayonnaise and adding some whatever you else add, some cheese, right? Some cheese back there as well. You might be seeing Caleb Williams have that unless our pressures work, right? Unless our pressures work for the Cardinals. But that, I mean, that's kind of unfortunately the situation that we're finding ourselves in, just because we're not getting back there enough, right? We've heard Jonathan Gannon mention it before. That it's something that they know, right? That this coaching staff knows that we can't get back there consistently. Like, it happens here and there, but we can't get back there consistently. So hopefully they do something about it. But let's talk about this here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and switch gears. Let's talk about preparing for the Bears. Let's do that here, ladies. Appreciate you guys for being here, by the way. We got over 100 people here in the chat right now. Do me a huge favor, smack the like button. Let's see if we can hit 75 likes on this stream. That's easy. Come on, that's easy peasy, ladies and gentlemen. Smack the like button. Do it for the algorithm. Do it for me. And yeah, appreciate you guys for being here, by the way. Smack it up. All right. Now, JG obviously was asked about Eberflus, because I believe they had some sort of relationship with each other. And how he feels about the Bears as a whole. So let's dive right into what JG had to say about Eberflus and how he feels about the Bears and what can potentially come of this coming weekend, week 9 versus the Bears.
Like for you to coach against, man.
Flu, my guy, man. Yeah, it'll be good to see him. But you guys know my story with him. I was, worked for him for 3 years in Indy. People ask me about him all the time. It's like the first thing that comes to my mind is elite leadership skills. I learned so much from him, not just defensively, because I learned a lot defensively from him. Brand new system for me, but just the day-to-day and accountability and how to get the most out of your guys and what, that looks like. And I took a lot what I learned from him to Philly and then to here, so he's definitely helped shape my game, so he's been a really cool resource for me. I love his family. His family did a lot for my family in Indy. Yeah, it'd be good to see him.
That's awesome. That's cool. No, it's sometimes we forget, right, that these guys are human beings as well, right? That the relationships are formed outside Sundays, right? It's sometimes we kind of forget that. But I want to go ahead and highlight here Mr. Spacely here, man. Appreciate the obviously the conversation here, because you're right. I do think that our defense is not bad, right? So let me read it. He says this: our defense isn't bad. They're overachieving for sure, though. And that is exciting to me. Get some big time D-line guys, and we got a nice defense. They play hard. Yeah, no, that's true. Absolutely. And you got to give credit to this culture, right? To this culture that is being established right now, right? To the culture that is being established right now. They're all saying what you want them to say, right? And that's Kyler Murray, all the leaders in this locker room, JG, everybody. They're all preaching the same thing, because how many teams, Cardinals fans, and obviously I'm talking to you guys here in the chat, let me know in the chat, like, how many Cardinals teams have we seen that start off bad and it just becomes a snowball effect from there, right? Like, there's no belief in this locker room, and that's just different. It's different this year. Now, Yes, JG was also there last year as well, but it was his first year of trying to lay the groundwork, right? Trying to put the brick by brick and trying to establish some sort of culture here within this Arizona Cardinals organization. So I love it. I really do, right? We've clawed and scratched to come back to this level that we're in right now. And obviously, there's a lot of Cardinal fans that are really excited right now. There's a level of excitement amongst Cardinals fans, and it's an amazing place to be. Like it's really really cool. So I want to go ahead and focus here on what Drew Petzing had to say about the Bears as well, because I think if you ask anybody, the Bears have a really good defense. They really, really do. Bears got a really, really good defense. So let's go and dive right into what Drew Petzing had to say about the Bears and what I guess the plan of attack and what we can potentially do.
His specific challenges against the Bears.
There's a lot of them. Certainly played them last week. I've always had a ton of respect for Matt Eberflus's defense. I think they play extremely hard, very disciplined, very assignment sound. And then over these last couple of years, they've added some really key talent to that roster. I mean, they have, arguably a premier player at every level. You got Sweat, you got Edmonds, you got Johnson. I mean, those are some of the best players in the NFL on defense that kind of are the staple of that defense. But then I don't think you see a major drop to the other guys that play in that unit in terms of production, performance, effort. So it's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Good defense, very good defense. I mean, in every part of that level of that defense, it's a good call out, right? Good call out. Sweat, which was an acquisition that they made last year. I believe it was last year. So Sweat, Edmonds, and then Jalen Johnson, which I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there that wanted the Cardinals to go after a cornerback, and then unfortunately they signed him to a long-term deal, which is smart on their behalf because Jalen Johnson's a really, really good cornerback. So it's one of those things that, that it's crazy that one name, two names can really make a defense, right? You can have a lot of guys rallying around those one or two names. And I think that's something that we're seeing here as a whole for the Arizona Cardinals defense, because let's call it like it is. Our defense is right. Sorry, our defense right now does not have a lot of star-studded names, right? They don't. If you ask any casual Cardinal fan, if you ask any fan of the NFL that are not really familiar with the Cardinals organization, if you ask them who's a player on our defense, they probably would say Budda Baker, and that probably be the only guy that they can potentially think of, right? Because you got a lot of young people, you got a lot of unknown, but you got a lot of people that play hard, right? A lot of people that play hard, and sometimes that's better, right? Because you need to have all those guys that play tough, and all those guys that play hard that surround themselves with the star-studded guys that feel the exact same way, right? Like your Budda Baker. Like Budda Baker is the heart and soul of this defense, right? This man is like a nuke, like a nuke. Like he won't be in a shot, and then you see him come up and make a tackle. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So that might be the only player right now. I mean, obviously you probably can ask a Philly fan, they will say Kazir White because they have the relationship with Kazir White and they know who he is, and then JG. But like for the most part, Budda Baker might be the only guy that any outsider might say that the Cardinals have. So yeah, I mean, this defense in the Bears is a good defense. It really is. Do I say that they're better than the Chargers? Maybe, right? Maybe. I mean, they might be a better defense than the Chargers. They're up there though. I think they're around the same realm. So maybe this might be one of those games where the Cardinals, are scoring less than 20, right? But it all depends. Like we cannot allow Caleb Williams to sit back there and get comfortable. We can't. That's just a recipe for disaster, right? We cannot allow this rookie quarterback to sit back there and, like I always say, make a ham sandwich. You cannot allow it. We got to send some blitz back. We got to disguise some things. And we've seen Caleb Williams not look great, right? Obviously, depending on what defense is out there and what happens on play by play, but we've seen Caleb Williams, and I think he's got a bright future. I really do. I think he's got a bright future. But I don't want to see him have a bright future against the Cardinals, right? This is the opportunity to take care of business. We got back-to-back home games with the Bears, and then we got the Jets, and we know what the alternative could potentially be. It's just we need to take one game at a time, right? One game at a time. Now, let's move on over to Kyler Murray, right? Our fearless leader right now. Kyler Murray was asked about Marvin Harrison Jr. I believe it was yesterday on Wednesday about, obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is always a big talking point because we want the connection to be as flawless as it potentially can be. And, of course, because Marvin Harrison Jr. had a really, really good game versus the Miami Dolphins, of course, the questions were asked, and this is what Kyler Murray had to say about Marvin.
You talked last week about just being patient with Marvin and how that was going to come together. You feel like you made some big strides Sunday?
I do. I feel like that was a big game for him, just confidence-wise. Obviously, seeing Ramsey on the other side, a good defense, one of the best defenses in the league statistically. For him to be able to go out there and have that type of game, as a rookie is very big. Any of those, like, those games are huge for a rookie, and I think, it's sky's the limit for him. So to have a game like that, to be able to build upon that is huge.
Yeah, and it's confidence, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand when I was saying, and I'm glad Kyler Murray's pretty much saying the same things I was saying, right? And Drew Petzing is now starting to say the same things what I was saying, right? But like, you can't say these things that I've been talking about if they're not happening on the field, right? Because then it looks the polar opposite of what you're trying to get your point across, right? Because I've been saying this for a bit. You need to have some sort of confidence in this young man, right? With confidence level with Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. and what we've seen against a former shutdown cornerback in Jalen Ramsey. It's a big confidence boost for a young rookie wide receiver, right? I'm pretty sure some thoughts were creeping in his head saying, man, maybe I'm not as good as people thought I was, right? That's not a spot we want him to be in, right? Because I said this a couple streams ago. This right here can break you. What's between your ears can break you. If you don't got the confidence, if you don't got the mentality, if you don't got the dog in you, this can break you. So I'm so glad that the alternative is starting to happen. Yes, granted, he's had 2 good games, right? And the other games have been sprinkled in. But it's one of the main reasons why it's been such a big focal point as to get this man the ball, because when Marvin gets the ball, that's your wide receiver 1, our offense can start clicking because that opens up for Trey, that opens up for Wilson, that opens up for Dortch. So really, really excited about it. I really am. I'm glad that the positivity is trending in the right direction. But let me play this clip here real quick. It's about the culture, right? The Cardinals right now, culturally, is like I haven't seen in quite some time, right? And like I said, we haven't played winning football in the last 2 years. And I'm not talking about this year, but the last 2 years. The last year of Cliff and then the first year of Jonathan Gannon. Although we've seen some fight, although we've seen some promise from Jonathan Gannon, at the end of the day, it's not winning football, right? It's 4 wins. So they asked Kyler about obviously being a part of which seems to be a turnaround point in the Arizona Cardinals season. This is how Kyler Murray addressed what they were asking.
3-1 your last 4, 2-game winning streak. What's it like to kind of be part of something like this recently?
For me, it's more so, like I said it, after the game, sticking to the process, not getting complacent. I think it has been a long time, winning consecutive, I'm not talking about 2 games. I'm talking like 8, 10, like in a row. But those teams like that I've been a part of, or never didn't feel themselves, didn't get complacent, understood what the real goal was, and did a great job of holding each other accountable through those times, and that's something that we're building upon. So I think that's the message.
So message culture. We're talking about the bigger picture, right? It's the bigger picture that people are trying to convey, right? These coaches, this establishment of what the bigger picture is, right? And that's the thing. It's the belief, right? We've seen multiple times where a Cardinals organization could start off at 1-3, and it's all downhill from that. It's a snowball effect, right? Doesn't look good, right? Doesn't feel good. You don't believe in what they're building, but what we're seeing and what we're hearing is translating to wins, right? And shout out Chad Ryland. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. But this is exactly what you want to see, right? You want to see that. You want to see the belief in these players that have in this coaching staff, because the Cardinals can end up the season with 7+ wins, right? And I'm not saying if the Cardinals win like 10+ games, and that would be leaps and bounds over than what I would have suspected. Like, honestly, like, to me, what would make me warm and fuzzies, and of course I want more, right? I'm not saying, oh, I will take that. No, of course. But I'm not trying to sell myself to the point where I'm like, oh, man, this has to happen, right? Or I'm not no. I understand the progress of what's currently going on, right? I want to see progress in this Arizona Cardinals organization and this coaching staff and in our franchise quarterback and Kyler, right? I want to see the progress. So far, we're seeing progress because guess what? We got 9 games left. 9 games. 9 games left, and we are already at the point where we matched 4 wins compared to the win total in 2023 and then 2020 in 2023 and 2022. It's amazing. It's amazing. Keep it going. Keep it going. Kyler, Jonathan Gannon, keep it going because it's working. Whatever is happening is working. We got 2 games coming our way. And I've seen here in the comments here that there's some people that think that we could beat the Bears, but we can't beat the Jets. I don't know. I feel like the Jets are on a downward spiral right now, and I don't think it has anything to do with the Cardinals. Can they beat them? I think it has everything to do with the belief of the Jets. I just don't think the Jets are mentally strong enough to withstand another loss. Like aren't they playing this? Aren't they playing today? Isn't that the Thursday night football game today? Right? Thursday night football. Yeah, Jets versus the Texans. Guys, if the Jets lose, they're 2-7. They're 2-7 if the Jets lose. And they're playing the Texans, right? With CJ Stroud, young rookie quarterback that we were all hyping up last year, right? CJ Stroud. And now this year, obviously, is Jaden Daniels. And like I said, I mean, Caleb Williams is a good quarterback, too. I don't want anybody to think he's not going to be a good. I think he's going to be good. It's just what we're seeing with Jaden Daniels is like, it's crazy that we're seeing back-to-back, right? It's crazy that we're seeing 2 young rookie quarterbacks back-to-back in back-to-back years. Leaps and bounds what anybody's ever expected, right? Nobody's ever expected the Commanders to be at the top of the division. Nobody has, right? But it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things where the NFL is a crazy, crazy place. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. The Jets mentally, if they lose again in Thursday night, they might implode. Like seriously, amongst within the locker room, they might implode. Because who are they really fighting for? They got an interim head coach, right? They went after Devontae Adams, which, was a big swing that they went after him, but, it doesn't seem like it's really working out. Doesn't really seem like it's working out. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, y'all. It's one of those things. Got my guy in the chat says Jaden and CJ were both second overall too. Yeah, what are the chances, huh? I mean, Bryce Young, man. Bryce Young is just not. I don't think it's unfortunate. It really is because I think the Bear or the Panthers might move off of him. Caleb, I think Caleb has a lot more promise than Bryce. He's already got his team of 4 wins. It's unfortunate that NFC North right now is the best division in football. That's the unfortunate part for him. It's that the best division in football. It used to be the NFC West. Not anymore. Not anymore. But it's okay. You got to take advantage of it. You got to take advantage of the situation that's in front of you. So, obviously, step by step, right? And I know there's some Cardinal fans saying we could be 6-4 going into the bye week. We can. But 1 week at a time, right? 1 week at a time. Let's take care of the Bears first. If we can get this win here, I'm not saying I'm not worried about the Jets. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I just don't think mentally the Jets are in a place where they can come out and win a game. Like, they need to win this Thursday night football game for any belief to be set in stone. Because they might clean house. Like, they might clean house. They might clean house after this year. Just be thankful, Cardinal fans, that we're not there. Just, like, last year, we were talking about the draft in November. Now, granted, it's not November yet. We're sitting on October 31st. Happy Halloween to the people that celebrate, right? But what I'm saying is that, like, last year, we were talking about the draft. We were talking about free agency last year in November. That's how bad it was. Be thankful for where we are at. We're 4-4 with the potential of being 5-4 and the potential to be 6-4. But like I said, take it week by week. You want to stay within this division, you got to win games. Want to stay in this division? Take care of business. And right now, the Bears are coming into State Farm Stadium, and they're trying to take your Halloween candy. Don't allow it to happen. Don't allow it to happen. What's up, Uncanny? He says, all good points, Mike, but Rodgers' Hall of Fame mentality and character will tear the Cards apart with no defensive pressure. That's fair. I mean, that's absolutely fair. It's a fair thing to say. But right now, Aaron Rodgers isn't playing like Aaron Rodgers of old, right? Aaron Rodgers, you're right, Hall of Fame type quarterback. I think so badly he wanted his career to turn out like Tom Brady. I think so badly he wanted to chase another ring. And obviously, that's what quarterbacks are chasing for, right? Rings, right? They want to get the hardware. His play is, it's not just the Jets. It's even Rodgers. Rodgers is not looking like Rodgers. Rodgers is not looking like Rodgers. So I see what you're saying. No, and I agree with you, right? For Hall of Fame mentality, he's got the quarterback. But I don't know, man. A lot of these whole home remedies, all these things that he's talking about, I just don't even know if this team believes in it, right? So one of us got to be right, right? One of us got to be right. I'm just hoping for, obviously, me to be right. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Eli says, I personally love seeing the young players develop. Man, we've been longing to see our young player develop in Darius Robinson. It's just this calf injury, I believe it was a lot worse than they wanted to lead to believe. Now, when he came back, he re-aggravated the calf injury again. So that's kind of probably the sense in terms of like what we're seeing right now, right? We're seeing the re-aggravation. Here we go. Here's breaking news. No, okay, not Cardinals breaking news. I want to be clear. Not Cardinals breaking news. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's breaking news for the Jets. The Jets are placing wide receiver Allen Lazard on IR. The Jets are placing wide receiver Adam Lazard on IR. So for what it's worth, there's that, right? Now, granted, he isn't their best wide receiver. That's Devontae, and that's probably Garrett Wilson, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. You gotta take advantage of what's put out in front of you. And right now, what's put out in front of us, I'm not gonna say winnable. It's potentially going above 500, but you gotta take care of the Bears. You gotta take care of the Bears. All right, you got to. Yeah, because if the Jets lose today on Thursday night, more storylines coming everywhere. We got my guy Big Bird in the chat says, I think 5-5 in the bye week unless we make trades for a defensive line help. I mean, let me ask you guys this in the chat. Are you happy with 5-5 going into the bye week? Chat, being serious, are you happy with 5-5? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. 5-5 with 7 games left? I'm not mad at it. That means you either beat the Bears and lose to the Jets, or you lose to the Bears and beat the Jets, right? I'm sorry, beat the Bears. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say. The alternative, right? So beat the Bears, lose to the Jets, or lose to the Bears and beat the Jets, right? So you're saying we go 1-1 in this 2-game stretch going into the bye week. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, obviously, the most exciting thing to see and what everybody wants to see is go 6-4, right? That's what everybody would love to see because you got the bye week, and then after that, you got the what am I trying to say? I'm sorry, blanking. The Seahawks, right? The Seahawks. So let me bring up the schedule right now. So in 3 days, we got obviously Bears November 3rd, and then you got the next week the Jets, and then so the bye week would be there, and then after that you got your Seahawks in the last part of November. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. Obviously, 6-4 is definitely ideal, but Jude says 4-6. I'd cry. Oh yes, no, that's the worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario is 4-6. That's the worst case scenario. We don't want to be there, right? We do not want to be there. But I think we've seen enough from this Cardinals organization. And I do agree with if the Cardinals make a move in the trade deadline, right? Because I don't think we're going to find anybody right now. Like, we got 3 days away from Bears Cardinals, right? We got 3 days away from that. So now we're really kind of focusing on Jets, right? If the Cardinals somehow get a win here and make a trade in the trade deadline, and then the Jets lose this Thursday, I don't know. It sounds like a good recipe for success to me. But it's one of those things, like I said, it's one of those things. We'll have to kind of wait and see how shakes out. Gavin in the chat says Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks. Yep, right after them, Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks. Yep. I just want to focus down on these two, right? We got 2 games before the bye week. Maybe Darius comes back after the bye week. Maybe Jonah comes back after the bye week. Because I don't think Jonah's playing this weekend. I really don't. I know he's coming soon. I just don't think he's going to play this weekend. Maybe next week. If not next week, then most likely the week after the bye week. Which, hey, we're getting healthier, right? We're getting healthier. We're getting healthier. It's all you can ask for at this very moment. We have a guy, Jersey Car. What's up, Jersey? He says, I don't think we get anybody. I mean, let's be positive, right? Let's be positive. I mean, all I said in the beginning of this stream, right? All I said in the beginning of the stream is temper expectations, right? Temper expectations. Because there was this big rumor going around on Twitter/X and everywhere because Wikipedia was changed. Guys, anybody can change a Wikipedia page. Anybody can. Anybody can change a Wikipedia page. And of course, if that happens, then it changes on Google when you search up Myles Garrett. You don't know how many screenshots I got yesterday, how many DMs, how many texts I got. No, it's not real. Wait for Ian Rapp or Adam Schefter or any of these big national guys, Mike Garafolo, Tom Pelissero, any of those guys to release it, then you get excited, right? I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that wasn't it. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. That's all I'm saying. That wasn't it. But let's be positive. Let's hope that our front office can make a move. We love draft capital. That's the truth. We love draft capital. Let's just be positive. All right. Let's do this. Right now, we're sitting with 52 likes right now in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys for being here. We got over 150 here on the YouTube side. Appreciate you guys for coming in here. And you guys are showing up really, really good recently. And I really, really do appreciate you guys for doing that. Let me ask you guys this. Are you guys here because the time is consistent? Or are you just excited about the Cardinals? Because I'm just trying to get some feedback here on my own behalf. Because this week has been very, very exciting for Cardinals fans to obviously so I'm just trying to get some feedback here in the chat. Are you here because it's more of a consistent, you're going live at 12 and I know that? Or is it just, hey, trade deadline's coming here and I want to hear what's going on? Let me know in the chat. Did you see Buddha? Yes, I did see that. Yeah, I ended up going on Twitter here and I ended up seeing that. Yeah. He was dressed like Michael Myers, right? That's what you're trying. Yeah, that's cool. Good for him. Yeah, if you guys do not know, check this out. That's Buddha Baker, ladies and gentlemen. That's Buddha Baker. That's awesome. That's super cool, man. That's super cool. I'm excited for Cardinals, both. Yup, time is good. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Just curious for my own curiosity. Thank you, everybody, for obviously participating. We are going to close up shop, and then we will get to a level where consistency is going to be key here on the channel, and I think that's one thing that I lacked for a very, very long time. But being the fact that I'm doing this full-time now, I need to be better in being consistent. So thank you guys for keeping me right. Thanks, guys, for obviously rocking with me. We're going to be closing up shop here right here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For the people that just joined in, smack the like button. Do me that huge favor on your way out. Right now, we're sitting with over 50 likes with over 100 people here in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Good things are coming for the Cardinals. Just be positive. Let's see if Monty can make a move here in the trade deadline, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, as always. Pleasure speaking to every single one of you guys here in the chat. Let me give a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the video. Of course, BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. By using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up, we'll get you this great offer. Bet responsibly, and of course, bet within your means. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Halloween if you celebrate. If you don't, have a great rest of your Thursday. As always, have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.